Alright. Yeah, back here again with a video. I know it's been a while since you've seen my mug on film, apart from that Rocky trailer I last made. But anyway, today I am here to review yet another championship belt. And as you can see, this has WWF on it. So maybe that's a clue. This could be an older one, eh? Sorry, were you expecting something a bit more creative for an intro? Kinda crap discount warehouse here. Anyway, let's go on. Alrighty, so here we go then. Another review of a championship belt brought to you by the WWF, now WWE. This one's from the Attitude Era, so yeah, it is an older belt. Picked this one off eBay for about £230. That includes postage and packaging. So anyway, this is the bag. You got the classic grey WWF Attitude bag. From my past videos you haven't seen this because it's been a black WWE bag because they were more modern belts, but this is an older one. So without further ado, I am going to whip this sucker out. I'm not talking about anything dirty, I'm talking about this belt. And let's see what we got. Oh yes, look at this. Oh, beautiful. It's the Smoking Skull title, look at that. World WWF Heavyweight Champion. Oh, jeez. Look at this. Look at this state-of-the-art beauty here. Cool. Is there a reason why it's sticking to this bag? Oh, look at that. Oh, brilliant foam lining there. Oh, you can't get it. Hey, wait a minute. There's something wrong here. There we go. That's more like it. Right, yep. Okay, so this is a review of a replica Stone Cold Steve Austin's Smoking Skull belt, which he used back in the late 90s. As you can see, this is a WWF version, so I'm mighty glad of that. So, of course, the typical review, I'll run through it and let you know what we have here. Right, so let's begin the review. Just taking a quick measurement from the top of the leather to the bottom is roughly about 10 inches, and from one end all the way to the others about 4'3½". So only a foot shorter than, let's say, AJ from WWE. Anyway, okay, typical replica. It's 2mm thick plates backed on a simulated leather. Let's have a look. You got World WWF, as I've mentioned, Heavyweight Champion. This is such a badass belt to have, in my opinion. I have this foam belt, which I tried to fool you with. This is pretty good for a foam belt. Probably one of the best looking ones. Well, I've only had two, but the best looking one I've ever possibly seen. Could be wrong there, but I haven't seen them all. But anyway, WWF. Right. Okay. One thing I want to point out: the new WWE versions that they make now has the scratch line logo underneath, like, let's say, as you see on the foam belt there. The actual one that Stone Cold used on TV did not have it, so it's like this replica, so that's brilliant in my opinion, and it's WWF rather than WWE. Differences from the real one, of course, because it's a replica, the engraving is not as detailed. It's quite flat. You could probably see that probably if you saw a real one. The engraving on the Heavyweight Champion, for example, at least, would be a lot deeper rather than flat. All replicas are like that. And it's only 2mm thick plates, whereas the real ones were 4mm at least. Yep, onto the leather. Simulated leather again, but this leather is quite good, really, in comparison to other replicas I've had. The only difference is, I believe, as it was made by Joe Marshall, JMar for short, I think he had the old floral patterning here, and also the real one did not have white stitching around the whole thing. It was actually just black and I believe had a pattern on it, so that's a bit of a difference there. I suppose I could get this re-leathered, but I don't think I will, because as it's a replica, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but as I say, the leather is pretty flexible, which I will show you later on. So leather, you got 2x5 female snaps here, and I believe this is 8. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you got 2x8 male snaps here. Okay, so the big medal, got World WWF Heavyweight Champion on the ribbon, the Smoking Skull, which is what it's known as. You got rattlesnakes on either side, sorry. Barbed wire border around the whole thing. Yep. Moving on to the side plates, they're each the same on each side, so you got WWF Rattlesnake and the skull. The only criticism I'd have is that skull looks a bit weird, but you know, it's a replica, you can't complain too much. And here you got classic WWF Attitude. Really looking forward to the next WWE 13 game, as they are concentrating on the Attitude Era. As I say, these ones are exactly the same. And on this side there's a big space where a WWF logo plate would be. As far as I'm aware, they never made logo plates for this belt, so that'll have to remain blank. Right, let's flip this sucker over and I'll show you the back, because it's a bit different to your typical replica belts. This one, like the real thing, has a simulated snakeskin backing. As far as I'm aware, the real one was never a genuine snakeskin backing, it was always printed. And this looks really good for a replica. I mean, you can't, from afar, you can't really easily tell the repeat lines, if that makes sense. I hope it does. This looks really good. So you got the genuine WWF stuff here, WWF.com, the holographic sticker, figures, Toyco and all that stuff. So just give you a quick pan of this. Snaps, bolts, snakeskin backing, blah blah blah, more bolts. There's no diamonds or jewels on this, so that's pretty good. Don't have to worry about things falling off. I just need to throw out a quick thank you to the original owner of this belt. These belts were probably made about 2000, I believe. That's around about the year, late 2000s, around about the year I got my very first replica belt. So, about 12 years old. This belt is in fantastic condition. Going back to the front. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to the original owner, if they are indeed watching this, which I think the chances are slim. The only blemishes are, don't know if you can tell, right there next to the H, there's a bit of a paint scratch there, and also right there next to the N. But other than that, this belt is fabulous. That sounds really gay, so I'll say that sounds it's a very fantastic belt. Brilliant. Extremely surprised at how well kept this was. I thought maybe, not to sound cocky, I thought maybe I was one of the only ones who looked after the replica belts, because when I see reviews online, people throwing them around, putting their whole palm all over the big medal, I don't like to do that, especially ones I really care about. And this is one of them. This was a great belt. Here's a fun fact for you. Don't know if it'll put you off. This badass belt here was actually inspired by the Women's Championship. You can go research that. You can tell that the shape of it is quite similar, and I believe that is firmly the case, inspired by the Women's Championship. But anyway, you've had a good gander at it, so I'll show you the flexibility of it and how it looks on over my shoulder and around my waist, just so you can get an idea of what it's like there. Okay, let's sort that out. Right, so this is the belt, me holding it. You can get a sense of size. In comparison to other belts, I believe this one's a little bit smaller, but this replica is actually based on the actual dimensions of it, I believe. In comparison to, say, the Undisputed title, which I reviewed, this is a lot smaller. Quite surprised at the size of it, but still bloody brilliant. Like I say, the leather, pretty flexible. In comparison to other replicas, the leather's quite stiff, but this one's pretty flexible, which is quite surprising for a replica. Another sense of flexibility over the shoulder, hangs pretty well over my shoulder, right on the back, brilliant. So in that sense, as I said, I probably won't be looking to get this re-leathered, even though I probably can't afford it now anyway. Right, okay, I'm going to do a camera cut here, because I don't like to waste your time fixing the belt around my waist. So I'll get back to you in a short moment. That was quick. Anyway, that's the belt around my waist. Fits pretty well. I've got one buckle missing. Doesn't make sense, fuck it. Yep, so that's the belt. Give you a quick whirl. Yeah, I'm pissed about there's no smoke on the back of this shirt. Terrible. Thought I'd dress for the occasion wear Austin 316 shirt. You know, it makes sense. So yeah, that's the belt around my waist in case you missed that. Indeed, talking about the shirt. Pretty good. Nice fit. That's that. Trying to think of anything else here. Got the that's the backing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this one because I'm blabbering now. Anyway, belt in comparison to the size of my head, because I usually do that. There you go. So anyway, closing comments. Brilliant belt. This was a custom title, only held by, let's say, Stone Cold, The Rock and Undertaker. Shane McMahon held it. Stone Cold never wore it as far as I'm aware, he always carried it like a badass like that. Only The Rock and Undertaker, as far as I'm aware, ever wore it. But anyway, closing comments, great belt, custom belt. When Stone Cold didn't have it, unless it was involved in the storyline, they never used this, they reverted back to the other belt. They should have just done the same with the current WWE title, the spinner one, although I believe there's a new one apparently been made. And just speculation, I reckon it will come onto TV on the 1000th episode of Raw, which is in a couple of weeks from now. Apparently it's pretty shit. I've seen it. It does look shit if it's the real thing. It's very plain. It's even supposed to be heavier than the current spinner one, which doesn't make sense at all because there have been complaints about this one's too heavy, too clunky. But you know, what happened to the great creativity that like going into the belts? I think they changed the belt makers, but it's just completely disappointing because this is such a badass belt. This summed up Stone Cold's bad attitude and everything. I believe he had this made behind Vince McMahon's back when he first used it. Vince McMahon was pissed. They took it off TV for a week or two, I believe, and then apparently because the fans were asking where the hell is the belt, they brought it back. There was a silver and a gold version made. You can find a picture of Stone Cold with J Mar, the creator, Stone Cold holding the silver and J Mar holding the gold one, and I think the gold one looks better anyway. Speaking of custom titles, The Rock also had a custom belt made with the Brahma Bull, but they never used it. Apparently it got lost in the mail. True story, I don't know. But apparently that's what they're going with. So yeah, that's the review of this belt. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be back sooner than you think with a belt review of small proportions. Right? But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching this. I hope it's been informative. If you're lucky enough to get a WWF version, I would highly recommend that above the WWE version because it just doesn't look the same. Like I say, it's got the scratch logo and even the paint, it doesn't seem as gold. It seems a bit silvery. This one's just brilliant. So, yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.